If you're used to the Tube, then you'll know the classic Beck map, which shows underground and overground services. But in this leafy street not far from Willesden Junction Station, it's home to a man who's come up with a new angle on the map that's familiar to millions of Londoners. Mark Node has designed this, a brand new Tube map. But how did it all start?
Well, there's a number of routes to where it started. The main one was seeing what would happen when Crossrail was mapped onto the current Tube map. And then also friends of mine who said that they find the current Tube map confusing and difficult to use when navigating London, particularly friends from overseas.
But how hard a challenge is that? Surely it's almost impossible to redesign something that people already see as a design classic.
I think the hardest bit was to make it a usable diagram. There are existing examples of truly geographic versions, but what I wanted to do was try and retain the simplicity that Beck introduced when he did his diagrammatic version back in the 30s.
After a first few initial sketches, Mark realised that this could evolve from a fun side project into something much bigger.
At first it was just my curiosity as a designer to see if I could tinker with it and produce something that sort of worked. And to that end, I concentrated just on the central zone around the Circle Line. The reason why I've pursued it further is because I think with modern technology, with more likely to be accessed on screen via the website, that there's far more you can do with it, and you can access information in a very different way.
Looking at the map on a regular website or an app that's just been released, you're able to filter out or in on parts of the map that you do or don't want to see.
The best example is the step-free access symbols on the current map, which make it difficult to know what sort of station you're going to. So what I've done is put a filter on the new version of the website, which just takes off any station that doesn't have step-free access. So it's looking at it in a completely different way. The other filters that we're putting on at this stage are walking links between nearby stations, which will help your journey. For instance, Lancaster Gate to Paddington is always a good one. And the journey times between each station, so you can get an approximate journey time by adding up the minutes between them.
And once he's done with the Tube map, Mark's got plans to extend it by doing other maps, such as the Oyster map of all rail services.
Well, the next stage is to incorporate the Oyster card services from National Rail. And it's in early stages so far, but this is how it starts, with me tracing off where all the lines and stations are. But in many ways, the geographical inaccuracies of this version of the map are worse than the underground map. And the example I would give is just have a look on the Oyster card map, the relationship between Erith and Grays, whereas Grays is actually south of Erith, but it's way north on the Oyster card map.
But Mark's map hasn't been without controversy. The most frequent comment he's got is, why mess with something that works?
One of the criticisms of my version of the map is that people love the Beck version. And what I've been saying is that if Harry Beck saw what has happened to his map, I don't think he'd be happy to put his name to it.
So does that mean that the day is coming when people no longer refer to the Harry Beck map, but this, the Mark Node map, instead? Only time will tell.